All right, good morning, everybody, to our Finance October 7th meeting. It is 1 p.m., and we'll start with introductions to my left.
Brittany Norris for the administration.
Colleen Hampsey, Council Research.
Mary Stefopoulos, Office of General Counsel.
Philip Peterson, Council Auditor's Office.
Kim Taylor, Council Auditor.
Good afternoon, Rory Diamond, District 13, The Beaches.
Ron Salem, Group 2 at large.
Nick Howland, at large, Group 3.
Good afternoon. Raul Arias, District 11.
Will Lanen, District 3.
Randy White, District 12, just visiting.
All right, well, thank you all for joining us today. We do have two presentations, one from First Coast Crime Stoppers and then a second one from Kim Taylor. The First Coast Crime Stoppers will be the first one for 10 minutes, and I do have the gentleman here from there. If you don't mind, please coming up. And right now, we don't have any public comment cards, correct? Nope. Okay, and if we get one, I'll put them at the end, then, if that's the case. So, gentlemen, please, you have 10 minutes on the clock.
All right, good afternoon.
Hello.
I would like to start off. I do have some handouts for the chair and the committee that I would like to have distributed, please. Inside the packet, you'll find on the first page is our statistics from inception, being 2002, followed by a packet from our most recent completed fiscal year, which follows that of the state of Florida, which is July 1 through June 30.
Okay, you may proceed.
So, Finance Chair, members of the Finance Committee, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak with you today about an issue that is at the very heart of Jacksonville's future, and that's public safety. My name is Chase Robinson. I'm the Executive Director of First Coast Crime Stoppers, and I stand here today representing our nonprofit that has been serving Jacksonville and the First Coast since 2002. Our mission is simple: to give people a safe, anonymous way to share what they know about crime. But our results have been anything but simple. They've been life-changing. Every day in Jacksonville, crimes are committed that threaten the peace and security as well as the future of all our neighborhoods. And every day there are witnesses, people who see something, who know something, but too often they stay silent out of fear of retaliation, fear of being exposed, and that's where Crime Stoppers really steps in. For over 2 decades, we have been the bridge between law enforcement and the community. We give people a voice when they feel that they can't speak up. We promise and deliver absolute anonymity by Florida statute. And because of that promise, people come forward with information that has solved murders, stopped violent offenders, taken illegal guns off our streets, and even reunited missing individuals with their families. Since our founding, 65,000 tips have been submitted through First Coast Crime Stoppers. And from those tips, 4,600 arrests have been made, 9,300 criminal cases have been cleared, and more than $20 million worth of drugs and stolen property have been recovered, including over $16 million in property, $3.6 million in illegal drugs, and over 700 weapons. And on top of that, tipsters have been awarded more than $1.2 million in rewards for stepping up to protect their communities. But behind all those statistics, all those numbers, are real people, real families, and real neighborhoods that are safer today than they were yesterday. Consider this: since 2002, 137 murder cases in Jacksonville have been solved thanks to First Coast Crime Stopper tips. That means 137 families received closure, families who otherwise might still be living with unanswered questions or unbearable grief. For instance, just a few blocks away today marks day 4 of the murder trial and the shooting death of 13-year-old Prince Holland. One of the suspects sitting in that courtroom today accused of first-degree murder is there because of information in a Crime Stopper tip. Earlier this year, our city was heartbroken when 7-year-old Breon Allen Jr. was taken from us in a senseless act of violence. But in the midst of all that sorrow, hope emerged. Multiple courageous citizens submitted tips to Crime Stoppers, trusting in anonymity, and those tips led to the arrests of 2 teenagers who pulled the trigger that ended Breon's life. Those tips didn't just bring justice, it sent a message that our community will protect its children, and we will not stay silent in the face of violence. Crime Stoppers gave Breon a voice when he no longer had one. They gave his family a path towards justice, and they gave our city proof that even in tragedy, we can act together and really make a difference. Or consider the senseless murder of 16-year-old Derek Pitts, who was killed in December of 2023. In the midst of that heartbreak, hope came in the form of multiple tips to Crime Stoppers. Those anonymous tips, those acts of bravery, provided the critical lead that allowed law enforcement to the identification, arrest, and most recently conviction of Derek's killer, who has been sentenced to 45 years in prison for his actions. In all these cases, the tipsters chose to utilize Crime Stoppers, not the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, not the City of Jacksonville, not any other public safety entity. Trust is the foundation of Crime Stoppers, and without that trust, people stay silent. But with it, fear turns into action, and that action, it solves crimes, it protects lives, and it makes Jacksonville safer for all. And that really is the power of Crime Stoppers. Committee members, Jacksonville is at a crossroads. We cannot afford to lose ground in the fight against crime and violent crime. Crime Stoppers is not a luxury, it's a necessity. But like every nonprofit, we rely on community and city support to continue this life-saving mission. And here's the truth. Without continued support, Crime Stoppers cannot sustain the level of support that Jacksonville needs. We're a nonprofit. We don't have unlimited resources, but we do have unlimited dedication to this city. We have proven results. We have a community that trusts us, and we have the ability to make Jacksonville safer. Every drug house that's shut down, every legal gun that's taken off our streets, and every fugitive captured means fewer victims tomorrow. By supporting First Coast Crime Stoppers, you're not just funding a program, you're standing with every victim, every family, and every neighborhood that deserves safety, regardless of race, religion, gender, or socioeconomic status. You're sending a clear message to the people of Jacksonville that this city will not tolerate crime, and we will not allow fear to silence those who wish to make a difference. On behalf of the thousands of lives that have been touched by just a single anonymous call, I thank you for your leadership. I thank you for your vision. And together we can silence fear, and truly, I believe together we can make Jacksonville safer. Thank you today.
Thank you for that. All right, I do have Councilmember Diamond on the queue. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And through the chair, just a shout out, huge fan of First Coast Crime Stoppers.
Thank you.
I mean, as a former federal prosecutor, I can tell you so many investigations start with when somebody's brave enough to say, this is what I saw, and or here's what I know happened. And it's such a big deal. And on a personal note, you know, we had a murder in Jacoby Pittman's old district, a few years ago, and no one could find the killer. The family was just stuck, in neutral because they got no justice at all. And Jacoby and I went and raised a bunch of money, plugged it into First Coast Crime Stoppers, and like 3 weeks later, the tips started rolling in. And I think it was just a couple of months ago now that the defendant was sentenced and put in jail for a very long time. So thank you for everything you do. It's a big deal.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Mr. Diamond. That's one of the reasons why I have him here presenting today. I'm going to have a couple questions for you all. Number one is, where does your funding come from? Right now, you said that in the last year you awarded $93,000. Where is this money coming from?
So our largest source of funding, so we are a nonprofit, so obviously funding and other, city and public entities is a large portion of our annual budget. But our largest form of funding does come in the form of a trust fund that's set up in Florida Statute 938.06. And it's when someone's arrested in one of the counties in which we cover, a $20 Crime Stopper fee is assessed. And when that fee is collected, it then goes into the trust fund pot and is distributed out based off of judicial circuit to each respective Crime Stopper entity.
Okay. The next one will be, how much do you have in your balance right now?
Excuse me, what was
How
that?
much is in your balance? How much money do you guys currently have? Are you sitting on?
Oh, so right now we have about an annual operating budget of about $500,000.
Okay. So what exactly is the issue? Like, why are you guys here today? Yeah, I know obviously it's because you need more funding, but why are we here today?
So the biggest issue that we face, a large portion of our funding and over the past couple of years has come from the public service grant. And we are going through the process right now of appealing the tentative decline of funding of our program. And we're actually at the meeting this morning, and we're trying to fight a technical glitch that both the grant administrator and the chief of grants and contract compliance went on the record stating that glitch was active in their system and actually reduced the scoring of one of our sections, making us the lowest scored applicant out of the 33 applicants that applied in that category. So that $125,000, which is instrumental in getting our message to high crime zip codes to areas of Jacksonville that are predisposed to crime higher than that. We really need that funding, and along with the Crime Stopper Trust Fund over the past 10 years, that is down over 30%. So while it is a source of funding that we do receive every year, we are seeing a decrease in that funding as well. So that is why we're here today.
So you talked about the category, $125,000. Which specific category are you looking at right now? Because I know there's multiple categories.
Prevention and diversion. That's the only category in which we applied in.
All right, Ms. Stefopoulos, I know you and I had a conversation on this. Is this fall in line with one of those categories that we talked about, or?
Mr. Chair, I don't have the specifics. I know they said prevention and diversion, but I don't know the specifics of the program, so I'm happy to follow up more and just see what the issue could be. Because like we said, if they didn't qualify for a category, they shouldn't be getting scored.
That's exactly it. So one of the questions and concerns we had was, I mean, do you guys even qualify to get into that category? But if you're getting scored, then clearly you do. So my next question would be then, is this the first time that you guys don't receive funding from the PSG Council, or is this the second year or third year? Like, how much did you guys receive last year, or have you ever received any funding from the PSG?
So we have received funding from the PSG in the past, and it has ranged from $90,000, I believe, all the way up to $125,000 being the max that we have received.
It was $150 in the past. We reduced it to
okay.
$125.
$150,000 then was the max, but over the last 2 years, last fiscal year, and then if it continues the way it's going this fiscal year, then this will be 2 consecutive years without funding.
Okay, good to know. All right, so I do have, before I finish my questions, I guess, you have $93,000 awarded currently right now. On average, would it be safe to say you're awarding roughly $100,000 a year, $80,000 to $100,000 a year? Is that what you're currently averaging, or?
I mean, since inception, I would say we're probably between the 75,000 range, but over the past 5 years, we are seeing an increase in the amount of rewards that we are approving per year, and we are trying to stay pace for that 93 to 100,000 moving forward.
Okay, and your average reward is in the 20,000 range, 10 range? How much is it?
Per reward, is that what you're referring to?
Yes, yeah.
I think it actually boils down to about $350, $375 when you do the math, our average reward that we're paying out.
Okay.
And that is a common misconception with our program is the high-profile homicide cases with the $10,000, $15,000, they make the media.
Yeah.
But on our monthly rewards report, it's the $250, $350 small narcotics tip that's actually being approved and paid out.
You're doing a lot of volume on that. Okay.
Yes.
I will go now to Councilmember Salem. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I'm a little disturbed by this versus a glitch in their system. Who runs the public service grants? I get those.
Mr. Stefopoulos, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that
Through
is
the chair.
Grants and Contract Compliance Division under Maribel Figueroa.
Okay, can we get Maribel here for our next Finance Committee meeting?
I'll put it in the request, definitely.
And get her here and understand exactly what's happened and see if it can be corrected.
One thing I will just say, if I can, Mr. Chair, they are getting scored, so clearly they're being contemplated as qualifying for the category in which they're applying, because if they didn't qualify for that category, they would not be scored. I presume their application would be rejected outright. So they are qualifying for the category as they have in the past. It could be, and obviously Ms. Figueroa could tell us better, but they may be getting additional applications. We've also limited the number. The council has taken action to kind of tighten up how much people can apply for, and so I just don't know if the competitive nature of the rankings has changed over the last couple of years.
I'm fine with all that. If they were scored and they didn't reach the number that they needed to get funding, I clearly understand that, but that's not what I'm hearing. I'm hearing from him there was a glitch in the system and he wasn't scored, if I understood him correctly. That's what I want to hear about.
We are seeing their score, and they didn't rank high enough to receive funding based on what we're looking at here. So I don't know what the glitch would be because they did get scored.
Mr. Robinson, I thought you said you weren't scored.
So I can help clarify the issue here. So we were scored, and we were scored, I believe there's 5 sections. We were scored in each of the 5 sections. So There was no issue about the actual scoring. What I'm referring to is when we submitted the application, the actual software portal that the entity was using, there was a glitch in when it removed about 6,000 characters of a 7,000 character limit for that section. It just didn't get submitted, so the scorers wouldn't have been able to view that. But we were able to catch that, and we went through the appeals process this morning to try to go through that and see if we can come to some sort of agreement with, hey, what is going on here? But I guess where it was going with that is it's kind of a concern of if this entity that they're using, if it has this glitch software, that I know we're not the only one that experienced that, and it applying to all the other organizations as well.
Mr. Chair, if I can suggest you speak to Ms. Hernandez yourself and determine what path we can potentially use to get them some funding.
Absolutely, and I know that Mr. Lane
Thank
is
you.
also going to present later on this afternoon on that, right, as well? Did you have something to talk about the PSG, or no?
To the chair, no. What I was mentioning to you is I want to make sure everyone, I want to bring up the nonprofit report that Ms. Brochet sent us earlier this week. I want to mention that at the end of the meeting. So completely separate from this. But while I have the mic, through the chair, sir, I would also recommend maybe reach out to Councilmember Boyland. I was the liaison to the Public Service Grant Council last year. Nothing like this came up in last year's process. I don't know what the new system is or whatever, but I would recommend getting him involved because he's the PSG liaison this year, and he may be unaware that there was some potential issue that led to differences in scoring, and now there's an appeal process for years, and there may be for others too if others had their scoring cut off. But I definitely would like to hear from Maribel at the next Finance Committee to make sure we understand what was going on there to ensure that we truly had objective grading with all those applications.
Thank you for that. And that's goes in line with the reason why when we were looking at the PSG process last year, we're going pretty aggressive, but it wasn't the fact that we were going aggressive because we wanted to just for fun. It's, to make sure that other entities also receive dollars, because most of the time it's the same entities getting the same dollars, and they're gobbling up pretty much all the 150,000, which is why we reduced it to 125 so that it could open up the portal for more people to get more dollars. And entities like this is the second year in a row, and obviously we see the kind of work that they do. It's critical in our community. How many people have already submitted tips to you this year alone?
This year it was just under 3,000.
3,000 tips. So this is critical, and we definitely have to make it a point, not just for this entity, but other entities, to be able to qualify and receive the funding. So I will have Ms. Maribel here at the next meeting. I'll recommend you guys to as well come. I might have a conversation with you guys prior to that meeting, but the conversation at the very least has started today, so we can see how we can progress moving forward. And once you do hear back from the PSG as to the glitch that you are referring to, please reach out to my office. Let me know what's going on prior to that meeting as well, too. All right?
Of course.
Mr. White, you were on the queue. Do you want to say something? Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Through the chair, this probably, if I can ask the question, it probably goes to the auditors. Would our CBA money, would that qualify for our CBA money since they do work in all districts?
Through the chair to Councilmember White. So once again, with CBA money, it has to be within the district. And so we would have to do the analysis of the program, how their services are offered, but based on what has been described and my experience and knowledge of the program from the past history is it's a county-wide program, so I think we would have a difficult time identifying that a specific district could fund this with the CBA dollars.
I'd like to look into that because I'd like to commit some money from my district anyway, and I'm sure some other council members would do the same thing. Thank you.
Understood. Thank you, Councilmember White.
Thank you, Mr. White. Mr. Robertson, if you don't mind, part of your homework would be the 3,000 tips that you received this year, if you could somehow figure out a way to allocate them towards districts. So find out, get our district map, and identify, okay, from District 1, we had X amount of tips, District 13, X amount of tips, and that may be able to facilitate what their request is, because the CBA dollars that they're talking about have to be used in the specific district. So if you can say 500 of them were towards District 13, well, now we know X amount should go towards that district based off of, the results that you have here, so.
Well, unfortunately, I can go ahead and tell you that won't be possible, as all of our tips are truly anonymous. We don't know where they're coming from, how they're being submitted, so we just know the quantity that we're receiving. We can't track where they're coming from, unfortunately.
All right. Okay, well, doesn't help, but sure.
I know. I wanted to make you aware of that. So.
Thank you for that.
It's the foundation of our program that we
Sure. That
won't
makes
even have
sense.
that ability.
Makes sense. Okay, all right, well, thank you for your presentation. We'll continue the conversation in the next meeting.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, colleagues, for that dialogue. All right, going on to our next presentation, this will be, we'll put 15 minutes on the clock for Ms. Taylor. You have 15 minutes, ma'am.
Through the chair to the committee, this will take about 30 seconds. Just to let you know, we issued a KHA follow-up. It was an audit that we did in the past on grant dollars that they receive. So not the city dollars, but when they get federal and state grants, and looking at those grant agreements. There was just one remaining issue last time when we did our first follow-up on the audit. That issue has been cleared. It was related to the closeout, the timely closeout of grants, to ensure that they get all their reimbursement, that everything occurs properly. They have addressed that, so we have no outstanding issues at this point. So we'll consider this audit closed at this point.
All right. Thank you for that. All right, and now we're going to go through the, no other council members on the queue, so we're going to go through the agenda. We have a total of 9 action items today, so we'll be pretty quick on these. All right, number 1, it is a deferral. Number 1, 2024-0627 is deferred. Number 2, 2024-0966 is deferred. Number 3, 2025-0361 is deferred. Number 4, 2025-0424 is deferred. However, I have a question. It's been deferred for multiple times now, so where are we at, Mr. Joe Carlucci, on this one? This is regarding your special committee on downtown, and so I know we deferred it based off of your findings on this. Are you, number 4, yeah. Are you going to have your special committee at any point soon? And because we're essentially holding this based off of your findings.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yep, so the first downtown special committee will be on October 27th. And, you know, my understanding is this money was being, I guess, held below the, what is this? This is for Snyder Memorial? Are we on that one?
Yes, yeah. The Riverfront Plaza restaurant, that the money was, $4 million towards Snyder Memorial, of which they needed $1 million from that downtown restaurant, that Riverfront restaurant, to go towards Snyder.
Okay. So I did talk to the DIA CEO today. Snyder Memorial will be brought up, and if not the first meeting, then potentially the second meeting. They just don't have an RFP out for that yet. Riverfront Plaza, my understanding is, the restaurant, is the design of that is completed, and I believe they have the RFP out, or they're working on that for the operator. So yeah,
I think we're talking about 2 different restaurants here. You're talking about the Friendship Fountain restaurant.
Yes.
This is the Riverfront restaurant, the one on the side of like the Main Street Bridge by.
Yeah.
This side. It's 2 different restaurants.
Okay, so then, I'm sorry, what's your question? Because I'm not involved, I mean.
We deferred this based off of the findings of that, because we were going to move this, and we deferred it because the question was, are we going to completely scrap that project for the restaurant on the Riverfront Plaza? It's not going to happen anymore? We're going to move this to the Snyder? Or
my understanding is there could be the potential for that restaurant to come back, but that's kind of been a fluid conversation. I would feel more comfortable with Colin, the CEO, addressing that, but I think Snyder Memorial is in the front of the line, more so than the Riverfront Plaza restaurant.
Okay. That's the reason why we were deferring it, to see which one's coming first and what's happening.
Correct, yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Pittman, you're on the queue. Oh, yes, I would like to recognize Ms. Pittman is here. And I also like to recognize Mr. Joe Carlucci came late today. Thank you. All right. Okay. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
To the chair, just wanted to ask the question just for a reminder. What is the proposal for Snyder? Is it for a restaurant or something else?
I'll let
Okay, I can answer that through the chair, Ms. Pittman. There is no definite decision made on what it wants or what it is going to be. Mm-hmm. My understanding is that the whole property is just going to be sold, and the developer that comes in can choose whatever the market says it's going to be. But with that, we're going to discuss kind of what's the appetite, what does the council want to see there, and that will be discussed in the special committee on downtown. So yeah, as of right now, to be determined.
And so that $1 million was gonna be proposed for the Snyder?
So as it is, Ms. Pittman, Snyder, like I said, this is still premature, but I think they were needing $4 million. They had $3 million. They need another $1 million to be completed for whoever goes in there to bid on that project. And we were trying to find where we were going to get $1 million. And the restaurant for Riverfront Plaza was not really an option for us at the time that we had that conversation. So they were relocating that $1 million to the Snyder project for whoever wins that bid. They could use it towards remediation and all that, because the Snyder is literally across City Hall, and it could be used for like commercial, for restaurants and shops and workspaces, whatever the case is. But it's based off of the RFP, so it's a little bit too premature. But essentially, it's for that. Yep.
Okay, and that's what reason why I'm asking is because I had a call from a nonprofit that wanted to do something, so I was just trying to get the flavor of what's going on. So if it's, particularly a business, I told them I didn't think that's something that they were looking to do, that it was supposed to be a business or a restaurant or something like that. So I just wanted to be clear.
Well, I would say have them come to the October 27th special committee that Mr. Joe Carlucci is going to be chairing to have more conversation on that.
27? At what time? You know yet? Okay, just send me. Okay, all right. If you could just send something to the office. Thank you, dear. All right.
Okay, awesome. All right, no other speakers on the queue. So 2025-0424 is deferred. All right, moving on to number 5. 2025-0539 is being deferred, possibly one more cycle, as it is right now. All right, moving on to number 6, 2025-0601. Move the amendment. We have a motion and a second on the neighborhoods amendment. Mr. Peterson, go ahead, sir.
Through the chair of the committee, the neighborhoods amendment would revise the contract end date from September 30th of 2035 to 2032. So it would only be a 3-year extension beyond their current contract to reference the community partnership investment, which will now be $75,000 within the legislation, attaching a revised 6th Amendment to revise that extension down to 3 years, revise the extraordinary rate adjustment option that Waste Pro would have from 2 requests down to 1 request. Once again, reducing that community partnership investment down to $75,000, and also requiring city council appropriation of those dollars. And then lastly, adding language regarding looking at technological advancements in the waste industry, whereby if they're able to be done without affecting service level or the cost to or from the city, that they can be implemented administratively. But if they affect service levels or change the cost of the service, whether up or down, that would have to come back to council for approval.
All right, thank you for that. I do have Mr. Will Lane on the queue. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Chair. And through the chair of the committee, when this bill was first introduced, I was very much against it, as Mr. Williams knows. If it was up to me, I would RFP this out in 2029 at the expiration of the current 6-year contract. That being said, I do appreciate the work that Councilmember Salem put into this to finding a compromise to where it's better than what was submitted. I still wish we were just RFPing it out at the end of this contract, but it looks like there's consensus around this amendment that makes it a lot better than what was originally submitted, which had it going all the way out to 2035 if we had approved that bill as it was submitted. So again, if it was up to me, we'd RFP it out in 2029, but seeing how we have consensus here, I will be supporting this amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Councilmember Salem. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Chair. I was right where you were 2 or 3 weeks ago, and just had a number of meetings with staff, people from solid waste, and I came to the conclusion there are risks in bidding it out, getting somebody below, not providing good services. Maybe they undercut the bid so they could get into the market, and they're wanting more money. So we have 2 providers right now that are providing good services. And we all know how, at least the second termers know, how important garbage pickup is after going through COVID and what happened there. So I came to the conclusion that 3 years is reasonable. I love the inflation part of this, 5% or less. And so I decided to go forward with an amendment at 3 years. And but I started out exactly where you were. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Ms. Pittman, recognized.
Mr. Chair, can I ask Mr. Williams to come up, please?
I was actually going to have him come up too. I think he's just sitting over there comfortably. So yes, Mr. Williams, please come up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ask him as
And
many
staff.
questions as you want.
Okay.
Please, name and address for the record.
Chief Williams, ASD.
I didn't get a chance to listen to the neighborhoods meeting and wanted your input in terms of what the amendments are with 3 years. And tell me if that's something that's going to be positive or challenge for you all.
Through the chair to Councilmember Pittman, we're fine with the changes. It will work out either way.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I just have a question regarding Meridian and then the service levels 1, 2, and 3. We have 3 service levels, correct, Mr. Williams? All right, so the Waste Pro, this is for service level, service area 3,
Correct.
right? Meridians that we just had that whole conversation a couple months ago. What service area was that?
2.
2, all right. And currently, Meridian, they're through 2033, correct?
Correct.
So why don't we have Waste Pro go through 2033? Why a year before Meridian? Why not have them both sync up at the same time?
You never want all of them to be at the same time. Then you'll be putting an RFP to bid them out all at the same time if that's what we wish to do.
Okay, makes sense. So then where are we with service area 1? Are we going to have another conversation at some point for Meridian
We will
service?
next year.
And that, I'm assuming, would go then through 2034 to have it 1 year staggered for all of them? The same?
All depends on what we decide to do with that one. When they come and we sit down and start to negotiate, we have to figure out what they come up with.
Okay.
We don't know yet.
Okay, all right, makes sense. Yeah, I think this makes sense to bring them down to from the 63 to put them in line with the Meridian contract that we just had. It's fair, and it just makes sense to have them staggered, like you said, at the very least 1 year apart, not having 3 years of a gap between them. So I'm definitely in favor of this one. But yeah, no other questions for me, unless you want to add something else.
No, I don't have anything
Why are you
else.
smiling so much today, sir?
I'm just happy.
All right, well, me too.
I'm happy that we all
Same
can
here.
agree.
All right.
I see.
All right.
And it's Victory Tuesday.
That's right. All right. Thank you, sir.
All right.
All right. So no other speakers in the queue. All in favor of the Neighborhoods Amendment indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Our amendment passes. We have a motion and second on the bill as amended. Nobody in the queue. Please open up the ballot and record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
All right. Thank you for that. By your motion, 2025-0601 passes. Okay. Going on to number 7, 2025-0681. We have a motion and second on the bill. No speakers in the queue. And let's open up the ballot and record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By your motion, 2025-0681 passes. Number 8, 2025-0685. Motion and second on the amendment. Mr. Peterson, please go ahead.
Through the chair of the committee, the amendment will update the fiscal year of appropriation and also remove the carryover language as it's not necessary. Updating the waiver of section 118-107, that's the language regarding contracting with not-for-profits, and attaching the newly required affidavit of disclosure as a new exhibit. Correct the reporting requirements to reflect an October 2025 delivery date of the report. Attaching revised on-file agreement to update the project schedule and budget, and also require the funds to be expended in accordance with the scope of services, correcting Scribner's and ordinance codes references within the agreement, and then lastly, correcting the oversight department to reflect the most recent reorg and then Scribner's within the bill.
All right, thank you. I don't see anybody in the queue, but I do have a couple questions. how much money is in this fund currently right now, and how does this fund get replenished? And give me an example. That's a question I always get to ask. Oh, you want to ask it? I do have Mr. Holland on the queue. It's all right.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to ask Mr. Richardson what the fund balance is in the Environmental Protection Fund, please.
Great question.
James Richardson, Environmental Protection Board. As usual, I knew that you were going to ask that question, and I'm unprepared, unfortunately, to provide you an answer right now. I left another meeting and didn't pull the balance, so I don't know if the auditors know the approximate balance.
Through the chair of the committee, there's about $260,000 currently prior to this appropriation.
Sir, you are forgiven because that's the first time you've ever not had the balance at the tip of your tongue. So thank you.
First time I've ever not met your expectation. I'm sorry.
No problem.
There's a first for everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for everything you do, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Peterson, so you mentioned there was a $260,000 balance prior to this. So with us taking out 112, we're going to be left with 147. That's pretty much going pretty rapidly. And I think you said at one point they were up to $1 million. So how are we replenishing? Is this going to catch up to us at some point? Where are we at?
Through the chair, or to the chair. So they only spend the dollars that they receive. They don't receive dollars from the general fund for environmental protection related issues. So on an annual basis, they take in $100 to $160,000 depending on the fines that are assessed. So that's dependent upon what goes on in the community. So yes, they were up to about $1 million probably two or three years ago. There have been significant appropriations over the last 2 years that have drawn that balance down. Some dollars, last year you funded the 17th State of the River report, which is what this appropriation was for. You funded air monitoring activities in disadvantaged communities. That was a match of a federal grant. There are a number of appropriations that have come through over the last 2 years to draw that balance down. But I would say historically that balance has fluctuated in the $100,000 to $400,000 range. So getting up to the million was out of the ordinary. I think we're back down into what I would say is the normal range of reserves in this fund.
All right, that makes sense then. So, the funding, you mentioned that it funds, the State of the River report amongst other reports. But I guess my question to you, sir, is, and I'm pretty sure the answer is yes, but are these reports mandated to be done every year, or is it just more of just general knowledge for us? Like, why are we having continuous studies constantly? And can these funds be used for anything else other than just studies?
Thank you. Through the chair, in regards to the State of the River report, it is not a mandated report. 18 years ago, when the River Accord project or River Accord initiative, which is a consortium of the City of Jacksonville, the Water Management District, DEP, when they came together to do projects to improve water quality, the State of the River report was done to provide an annual snapshot, if you will, of the health of the river. The Environmental Protection Board has been the primary funder of that report since its inception. So it's not mandated. The Ordinance 360 lists out 7 or 8 different specific uses of the trust fund. One of those uses is environmental education, environmental projects, and that is under the discretion or at the discretion, if you will, of the Environmental Protection Board. Entities will come to the board with a request for funding for a particular project. And as Mr. Peterson mentioned, over the years, we have funded reports. We have funded, most recently, provided, as he said, a match toward a federal grant for the mobile air monitoring. We have a septic tank vulnerability assessment going on right now. We have funded in the past various water quality reports. We have funded air quality reports, cancer studies. So it ranges over, a multitude of things. The primary objective behind whatever we do is to increase awareness and education of the citizens about the importance of natural resources, importance of the environment, and the impacts that they have on them. Environmental resources are important to the quality of life for residents, and the more people know about how they can positively impact it instead of negatively impacting those, I think the board feels that various projects move those ideas and thoughts forward. And I'm sure Councilman Howland, as a past chair of the Environmental Protection Board, could speak to that as well. Put him on the spot.
All right, sir. I do have one more question before I pass it over to Mr. Howland. More of a personal question on my end, just for knowledge, but the Ironman is coming to Jacksonville in May of next year.
What? I'm sorry?
Ironman. It's like
Ironman?
a triathlon. Mm-hmm. And have they contacted you, or have you done any reports regarding the river? Because I know there's going to be a couple thousand people swimming down that river. So have you done any studies on that?
Through the chair, we have not been contacted in regards to anything about that. But, as they are planning that, I'm sure the State of the River report might be one of the sources of information for them to assess whether or not it's healthy, if you will, for those who are participating in that activity.
Okay, cool. Well, I better not get sick. All right, Mr. Howland, you're
I
recognized.
don't think you will. I don't think you will.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Richardson, thanks for that debrief on the EPB fund. I love this. I'm a big fan of the State of the River report because, as we all know, the river is such a fundamental asset to our city. And so I believe you are what you measure. And for 18 years now, we've measured so many different factors in that river through that report. And I don't know if you've already done so, Mr. Richardson, but if you haven't, please do. Get all the council members maybe the latest State of the River summary pamphlet that you have, because I think that is impactful information that is great because you can see how it's developed over the time with your, simple graphics, the up arrow, the down arrow, what have you, and we can see how the various species are doing and chemicals and all that kind of stuff. And I do note that I think we've generally had a real positive upward trend on most factors in the river. So that's positive and hopefully bodes well for the Ironman. Thank you.
Thank you for that. All right. So we are currently on a Mary, where are we at right now? Sorry.
Yes, so you have moved the amendment, but it has not been voted on yet.
All right, cool. No other speakers in the queue. All in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Amendment? We have a motion and second on the bill as amendment. Nobody in the queue. Open up the ballot and record your vote, please.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By your motion, 2025-0685 passes. Going on to the last one, number 9, 2025-0711. We have motion and second on the amendment. Mr. Peterson, please.
Through the chair to the committee, the amendment just designates the Office of Sports Entertainment as contract manager. The legislation was introduced with DIA, but DIA has no dealings with the stadium construction. Office of Sports Entertainment is the contract management oversight for the entire stadium project, so designate them for this project as well.
Okay. I do have a question for Jay. I know that I have Ms. Renee here. How many, first of all, hello. All right, welcome. Please say your name and address, but I have a question regarding the chilled water services that you guys offer for the city. How many buildings do you currently have in the city of Jacksonville operating for the chilled service system?
Renee Good, JEA, 21 West Church Street. I'm going to ask Maritza Riviera-Clapp, who is a subject matter expert that has all this information, that she could come up and give that to you.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We have 18 services.
18 services. All right, thank you. And then, do you foresee any more coming in the pipeline in the next couple years, or?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we are growing the system.
Roughly, what do you foresee?
The sports district will probably have one more service. Will be MOSH, And then we have other plants that have capacity. So depending on how close the building may be to the plant, we could add more buildings to the other plants.
Okay, and so all these systems are only going to be for downtown, correct?
Yeah,
they don't go
currently,
anywhere
yes.
else.
Yeah, just downtown is where we have district cooling.
Okay, perfect. All right. It's for air conditioning, yeah. So it's chilled water that comes in and cools the air versus having AC units on the top. So,
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, right. All right, well, no further questions over here. Thank you so much for that information. Appreciate it. All right, so there you have it, guys and ladies. So we are in the amendment. So all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Amendment passes. All right, we have motion and second on the bill as amended. No other speakers in the queue. Open up the ballot and record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
All right, by your motion, 2025-07-11 passes. All right, and the second are on second readings. The following ones are on second readings. Number 10, so 2025-0727, 0728, 0731, 0738, 0739, 0741, 0742, and 0749 are all on second reading. And I do have Mr. Lanen on the queue. You do have 30 seconds, sir.
Thank you, Chair. Well, that'll be enough. You may recall a few cycles ago, we passed 2025-0557, which required a report on federal grants, housing of unauthorized aliens, and expenditures on nonprofits. Ms. Shea sent that yesterday. On the nonprofit, it is a list of, this is going back last year, so October 1st of last year to September 30th of this year, $230 million in nonprofit spend. It is 12 pages of individual nonprofits. Now, I mean, some of this is, UF Health's in there. That's a big one. I believe it picked up a pension fund contribution. But still, I mean, our budget, I keep on saying it, when you take out public safety and debt, our budget's $700 million a year. And so nonprofit spending continues to go up and up. And what we've been talking about, non-departmental spend, I mean, that's our lever in the future, because within that $700 million, you still have public works, parks, and libraries, which I don't really want to reduce those budgets either. So again, take a look at this. It is 12 pages of the nonprofits that got money from the city of Jacksonville last year. So just want to make sure we look at this, and we need to just start having conversations about it to make sure that we are satisfied with what our nonprofit strategy is here, because it is a lot of money.
Mr. Lane, does that indicate how many of those have received PSG dollars as well, too, or is it just all combined into one list?
Through the chair, it does not, but I'm sure we could ask the administration to add that in as an additional way to track. And I mean, some of these are, it goes from $250 all the way up to, I mean, the 46 or 56 million that UF Health got.
The $250 ones are all probably Councilmember Johnson's, because, you know, he has a few of those. So, all right. All right, with that being said, our meeting is concluded today. Thank you all for joining us.